Good afternoon. It's a snowy day here in Addison, Illinois. My name is Jody Giannakopoulos. I'm an adult services associate. I was researching methods of getting a good stretch on while you're at work or at your home office or even just hanging out. So I was lucky enough to be connected with Stephanie Black. And we are doing our first ever midday desk stretch. So we are so fortunate to be here with a professional who can guide us to a safe and helpful session. We are going to do an 11 a.m. time slot in the future, but we're here today at the 1 o'clock time, just at the beginning of February. And we know that we need to get out and move around, but that's not happening. So we're here in our warm and comfortable environments and looking forward to a great session with Stephanie Black. I would like to introduce her, but allow her to introduce herself a little bit. Just give us a little bit of a background and we'll get right into our stretch and exercise.
Right. Well, wonderful. Thank you, Jody. And thank you for the continued opportunity for us to, partner with you on some of these health and wellness related presentations and, your community. So I'm excited for us to continue this in the future. As Jody stated, my name is Stephanie Black. I am an assistant professor at the College of DuPage, and I work in the Physical Education, Fitness, and Sports Studies department. And many times when I tell people what I do, their response is, you have to take PE in college. And I said, no, people want to take PE in college. And so, we are all about continuing to promote healthy lifestyles in a variety of ways. I have been doing this for a really long time. I'm just going to say a little bit about my background so you hopefully think you're in good hands. I've been teaching group exercise for over 25 years, a wide variety of different types of formats. And I still teach at the College of DuPage as well. That all being said, this is the first stretch class I have done via Zoom, which I'm sure you're all glad you're safe in your warm environments as we're looking outside with all the snow, right? And I will be kind of fiddling with the camera just a little bit so you can see some of the body positions. So I just ask for your patience in that. And, we're going to do the best we can. If you have any questions throughout, obviously, please, and you can put it in the chat or they can just unmute, right? Is that okay, Jody?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So, we are going to go over some midday stretch. Depending on the time we have, we're going to go over a little balance that we can do sitting in our chairs and then even get up out of our chairs and do a little bit of balance as well as some exercises we can really do anytime during our workday when we're sitting around, watching TV or whatever that we're doing. And so I just want to share a couple slides before we get started. This is going to be most an activity-based class, but I just want to kind of give a background of why we think it's important to take a moment and do a couple stretches, throughout the day. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm getting better at all of this. There we are. Okay, midday desk stretch. Oh, there we are. Okay, so, this has always been an issue, but over the last 2 years, it's really become in the forefront of, our daily lives, is that we're sitting at a desk all day, every day. And there are different types of, lifestyles and jobs, but a lot of us are spending more time at the computer than ever and more sedentary in a chair. And even in terms of what I do, I'm in a chair at the computer more than I ever have been for most of my time, working in this field. So, what happens? And what happens when we're sitting in a chair, and here's my diagram here, we start to get muscle tightness. And it's just because we're sitting sedentary for so long. And so in this picture here, we talk about, the upper and middle back, right? And so we're sitting here like this at a computer, and we're sitting this for long periods of time. And so we start to get very tight in that area. A couple of the other areas where we tend to get really tight that maybe we don't consider as much are the hip flexors. So when you're sitting in that like 90-degree sitting like position, our hip flexors get extremely tight because we've been sitting there for a long period of time. And then also tight hamstrings, which is the back of your legs. And, unless we're kind of stretching out our legs underneath our desks, those tend to get really tight as well. And I'm probably getting ahead of myself a little bit, but all this muscle tightness can cause pain or referred pain, which meaning pain in other areas of the body, because of that muscle tightness. That leads to limited flexibility. And also, I'm on this third bullet point here, is limited joint range of motion. And what is the difference between those two? Those are used interchangeably a lot, but flexibility, we're normally referring to the muscle flexibility. So if we're sitting in a chair for a long period of time and you straighten your leg under your desk, you might feel a little pull in the back of the leg, which is the hamstring. That's flexibility of the muscle. The joint range of the range of motion is joint range of motion, and they tie in together a lot. But if we're like this all day and we're getting tight and our shoulders are in this position for long periods of time, now the joint range of motion in the shoulders become limited. That can cause issues. If it's habitual as we kind of age and move down our lifespan. That's three of the main things that happen when we're sitting a lot. To flip the slide, because of those three areas I just talked about, it does happen. We have poor posture, and it becomes habitual. And so I'm going to move my boxes here on my Zoom so I can see the picture. This picture here, I really like because it's an exaggeration of what we look like when we're at that computer, but that is called round shoulder syndrome. And I'm going to turn my chair a little bit here now, just so we can see. There we go. And pretend my desk, we're going like this all day. And so our shoulders are forward, right? Our head is forward, and we're staring at the computer or even our phone for long periods of time. And so when we continually do that, we start walking like that, we start eating like that, we start watching TV like this. And I catch myself all the time in that position. That makes our chest extremely tight, and our trapezius, which is in the back of the neck and kind of down to the mid-back, extremely tight. When they get tight, and because it's habitual, because we're like that all the time, it just carries in our everyday life. The second bullet point there is that, we just have an overall sedentary lifestyle, and probably more than ever over the course of the last 2 years or so. We've been kind of forced to be at home. We can get outside. Sometimes we can. And everyone has a different comfort level with what's going on. And then I have this last bullet point here. And I wanted to bring this up because this is kind of new in the fitness industry right now. It's called the active couch potato. And those are, I'll be honest, that's kind of people like me right now. When you're sitting at home at a desk all day, everything's online. And so we're on our computer for long periods of time. I get up, I work out for an hour or 45 minutes, and then I'm back at my computer. And so if we're thinking about, we'll just take teaching as an example. Normally, I'm up and down the stairs, going to building, different departments, in my classroom, walking around, maybe teaching a class, right? And so we're all, we all have different activity levels in our jobs, but when we're at home on the computer, and that's what our job has resorted to, we become this active couch potato. And so that really made me think like, wow, I bet a lot of people think they're active, and they are, but we're not being as active in our everyday life activity. And so we kind of become this couch potato. So we're going to try to prevent that with just some simple things that we can do while we're sitting here for longer periods of time. I think, oh, yes. One more slide and then we'll get moving. The benefits of desk stretching and or exercising. And after you do these, you can look like this woman, like, yay, I feel great. And so we're going to decrease the pain and the stiffness overall. We're going to decrease that muscle tension and tightness. We're going to alleviate those tension headaches, because when these muscles back here get really tight, it really does bring referred pain into the head. And that's why we're getting those tension headaches. So we're going to do some stretches today that can try to alleviate that. We're going to maintain and or increase flexibility depending on where our starting point is at, as well as the range of motion. And the last bullet point here, I'm going to be talking to a lot. I'm a firm believer in this. It really promotes postural body awareness. When we can kind of catch ourselves doing this, because let's be in reality, we're not going to stop doing that forever. Then we can say, oh, we're not in proper posture. And then we can get ourselves back. So even when we're doing this, sometimes we can go, oh, we're not in the right postural position. And we can get ourselves back into that postural position that we want to be in, even if it's shorter periods of time. And so we're just going to promote some of the exercises and stretches that we're doing today will promote getting in that right position. And so we can get back there when we fall out of it. Okay, I think that is my last slide. Yes, okay, so I'm going to stop the share. There we go. Okay, what is proper posture? And there are some commonalities for everybody, and then there's going to be some differences based on who we are and what our body's like. And so a lot of times in my classes, my participants probably get tired of me saying it over and over, but I'm going to share it with you, is shoulders down and back. We talked about that round shoulder syndrome, and that is the exact opposite of really where we want to be. Okay, so shoulders down and back are taking the shoulders and depressing them down towards our hips, and then pulling them back towards, in this case, the chair. You can use a wall, you can use a couch, it really doesn't matter, but shoulders down and back. Okay, and right now, even when I'm doing this, I feel a little tightness in here, and you may or may not, but it's tight because we're hunched over a lot. So shoulders down and back is really a really good cue that you're going to be hearing throughout. The other thing is our spine position. A lot of times when we tell our participants or our members, to get our shoulders back, we end up arching our back. We want to try not to do that, but everyone's natural curvature in their spine is a little bit different. And so what I want you to think about is what's called neutral spine. And I'm borrowing this from Pilates, but it's shoulders down and back and a neutral spine. Neutral spine is a comfortable curvature for you. So if we're in the chair, like my chair, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's pretty straight. If I put myself all the way back into my chair, I'm pretty much in an upright position, but some chairs lean back, some chairs are forward, right? And so, just inch yourself a little bit, a couple inches away from the back of the chair, and just kind of see where your spine lands. You want to make sure that your sit bones are, the weight is transferred evenly on those sit bones. Feet are going to be about hip distance apart and firmly on the floor. Now, depending on your chair, if you can adjust, that would be great. If not, get them as close to the floor as you possibly can. I know you can't see me here, but I am 5'1". I'm a short person. And so sometimes when I sit in the chairs, I'm like, I can't even touch the ground. So just try to make sure that, your feet are firmly on the ground. So just a natural spine position. So far we've done shoulders down and back and a neutral spine position. And then I'm going to turn myself so you can see. We're going to talk a little bit about the cervical spine. And the cervical spine is the spine in the neck. And when we're in round shoulder syndrome, we're like this a lot. And so our cervical spine is going forward like that. When we hold it there for long periods of time, over a period of time, our muscles become tight and it becomes habitual. And so what I want you to do is actually take the chin, and I don't want you to chin tuck, but take the chin and pull it in towards the neck. And then imagine like you're kind of pulling the cervical spine through the top of the head. So you're almost going to make a double chin. I know we don't really want to do that all the time, but instead of this, I want to pull it in and then just kind of tuck it under just a bit. That'll lengthen the spine. Now, in reality, I know we're not going to type like that, okay? But proper posture, shoulders down and back, neutral spine, and I can't even see myself here, but ideally, in an ideal world, our ear, the middle of the ear would follow right along the shoulder and we would be in alignment then. Okay, so even just taking a moment and lengthening that cervical spine really does help just promote how far we are forward and really where we need to be. Okay, so you'll hear those cues throughout. I wanted to go over that first so you knew what I was referring to when we go through the exercises. Okay, so we're going to start with some postural exercises. And again, I am borrowing these from Pilates, but they're great for posture and they're great for just sitting at the desk. Sorry, I'm going to turn myself again. So the first is just a chin retraction and protraction. So in that, I want everyone to be in a nice postural alignment. So shoulders down and back, that neutral spine, feet firmly on the floor. And I just want you to take your chin with trying not to move the rest of your body. I know that's a little bit hard. And just bring your chin forward. And then bring your chin back to where it feels lengthened. And if you can, I'm going to add some breath to it. If it's too hard to coordinate, don't worry about that part, just breathe. But you can inhale on the way out and exhale on the way in. Okay, and we're just going to do a couple of these. Okay, so keep going. I'm going to turn. So we're going to just come out and then come back in. So we're just going to do one more like that. Bring it out and then bring it in. Great job, shoulders down and back if you've kind of lost that position. Again, promoting body awareness of where we need to be. We're going to warm up the shoulders for a little bit. And we're just going to do some shoulder rolls. Okay, so I am going to get you out of alignment a little bit. So I want you just to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and then pull them back and then down and around. So we're going to do about 10 of those. Now, when you're doing these, I want you to exaggerate the motion. So way up and then way down. So you're bringing them up towards your ears and down and around. I am a culprit of losing count as I talk, so we're going to do 2 more. If a fitness instructor ever just randomly counts down from 4, they've lost their count. Okay, all right, hold it there. And then we're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to go the opposite way. Okay, so bring them down and back and then up and around. And really, it's just a slow and controlled motion. That is the best way to look at like a speed of things, not too fast, not too slow, whatever is slow is and controlled for you. So let's do about 4 more. So 4, 3, and 1. Okay, great job. You can shake that out a little bit. Okay, maintaining that proper posture here, we're going to do shoulder elevation and depression. And so we're just going to inhale on the way up to the ears and then exhale and depress them down towards your hips. And my hands, I know you can't see them, but they're just on my legs. I'm just resting them there. You can put them to the side if you want. And down. Good. 3 more-ish on that. All right, last one. We're going to inhale up and then exhale down. Great job. Okay, we're going to keep with the shoulders. I'm going to turn myself again. And Jody, if you can't see me at any time, just let me know and I'll adjust. We're going to do shoulder protraction and retraction. So we're going to bring our arms up and they're going to be parallel to our legs. You can look at that way or parallel to the floor, shoulders down and back, and we're in that neutral spine position. And so this time, trying to keep our body very straight, you want to reach your hands out. You know, you can look at a wall or whatever's in front of you there, and then bring them back, trying to maintain those arms being parallel to the floor. And you can inhale out and then exhale and bring them back in. Now, if you can, kind of think about where you're tight in this, because that's where you want to work on the most. So for me, when I come out, it's like the back of my shoulders are super tight. And when I come back here, I feel a little bit better. So let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Great job. And then we can just drop those arms down. Okay. Oh, I'm going to move my chair back just a little bit for this. I always love these types of stretches. Okay, I want you to dangle your hands down by your side. Now, if you have arms on your chairs, like I don't have arms on my chairs, it might be, we're going to have to adjust a little bit. So just keep that in mind. Shoulders down and back, that neutral spine. And I want you to turn your palms up. If they don't go all the way up to the ceiling, it's okay. Just go up as far as you can. Take a nice deep inhale. Now, remaining with your shoulders down and back, I want you to bring those hands up and over the head here. Now, just stop for a quick second and check. This is very common. So get those shoulders down and back. Turn the palms away from you and then bring them back down. Yeah. So inhale, palms up. Split second, exhale, turn those palms away and then bring them back down. Okay, couple more of those. If you can, I want you to think about kind of locking the shoulder into the socket and really reaching through the fingertips. And that'll make your arms nice and long. We're lengthening the muscle with really not doing that much extra work. All right, we're going to do one more after this. All right, one more time. Inhale up. And then exhale down. All right, great job. Okay, we're going to move on a little bit. All right, this is one of my favorite stretches. And this is you can easily do really at any time. Okay, so this, we get so tight in here when we're sitting. And it's really common. Again, like I said, it contributes to headaches and a lot of other issues. And so before we get to some of the deep stretches, I just want to let everyone know that stretching is supposed to feel good. I mean, you're going to feel a stretch and a little pull, but anything I'm doing, if it's painful for you, ease up on the stretch or just stop the stretch completely. I just want to make sure everyone's safe when we're doing these. Okay, so we're going to start ear to shoulder. This is going to be a trapezius neck muscle stretch. Okay, and so we're going to stay in that proper posture. Okay. Shoulders down and back, neutral spine. Take one ear, and I just want you to dip it down towards your shoulder. Now, it's the lengthened side that we're stretching, okay? If you want a little bit more of a stretch, I want you to take the shoulder on the stretch side and depress it down towards your hip. It's going to be a greater stretch. So if that's too much, ease up on that depression a little bit. Okay, so let me just go over it one more time. We're going to neutral here, ear to shoulder, drop the opposite shoulder. And we're going to hold it. I'm going to count in my head about 10-ish seconds. If you can, or if you want to, you can always take a nice deep inhale. And then on that exhale, you can try to deepen the stretch just a little bit. And that means bringing this ear closer to the shoulder and then depressing the shoulder down even more. Now what I want you to do is stay in this position and then just tuck your chin forward ever so slightly. And you should feel a little bit different stretch in the back of the neck. Okay, and same thing, we're going to hold everything for about 10 seconds. You can always inhale, exhale, and try to deepen the stretch. Now, if that chin tuck doesn't feel good, take that piece out. All right, let's come back up to neutral. So we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to take ear to shoulder, drop the opposite shoulder. And again, you can hang your hand off your chair or just leave it on your leg, whatever's comfortable for you. If you want to, take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, deepen that stretch. And when you're ready, if you're ready, you're going to tuck your chin down ever so slightly and just feel a little bit different of stretch. Again, you can inhale, exhale, deepen the stretch if you would like to. And then let's come back up to neutral. And so that can be done at any time, just like, and try to get this stretched out a little bit. You can hold stretches from 10 to 30 seconds. 10 seconds probably on the short end as I'm doing, and then 30 seconds on the long end. If you plan on doing 30 seconds and at 20 seconds, it doesn't feel great, then you cut it short then. Okay, but that's usually the rule is 10 to 30 seconds for a static stretch like that. Okay, we're going to go on to neck rolls. And so what I want you to do is start with that ear to shoulder. So we're going to start with the ear to shoulder. Make sure those shoulders are depressed down. And then we're just going to slowly tuck our chin and roll in front until we get to the other side. I'm not going to go back because that's good for some people and not for others. Okay, and so I just want you to keep rolling in front in a slow and controlled motion. Feel that stretch on the end of it when it's ear to shoulder for a split second, and then roll again. And we'll do about 10 of those. Now, because we've already done a little bit of the stretch here, you can try to go deeper on the ends if you want. So this is more of what we call a dynamic stretch. It's still a stretch, but we're actually moving. And there are benefits to both static and dynamic stretches, because now we're working on not just the muscle, but the joint range of motion. Okay, let's do, I think we started on this side, so we'll do one more. Okay, let's shake that out a little bit. Okay, we are going to do a back deltoid, like shoulder, and like kind of an upper back stretch, and then we're going to do a chest opener. So I'm going to change again. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. Okay, so it's going to get like, it should feel in the upper back, this stretch. But again, we're going to take those hands parallel to the floor again. There's two ways we can do that. I'll show you kind of a phase one and a phase two. So we did this exercise already where we went forward and back. This time, I want you to bring those shoulders forward as far as you can. Feel the stretch across like the back of the shoulders and the upper back, and then tuck the chin. And I just want you to breathe and hold it there. Keep stretching. The phase two is if you wanted to grab the hands, doesn't matter which hand is on top, and then push through those hands. So you're assisting your stretch. If that's too much, let go of the hands, okay? All right, let's hold it here. Tuck that chin. Okay, and then you're gonna bring that down. Okay, great job. I'm going to turn again, and we're going to do a chest opener. Depending on your chair, we may need to turn, but we'll see how this goes. So when we're in this position a lot, our chest, so our pecs up here, they get really tight. So it's really nice to do a chest opener as well. So we can just take our hands about 90 degree, our arms 90 degree to the floor. And I just want you to take shoulders down and back, take a nice inhale here, and exhale, just bring your arms back. Now, with this one, make sure you're not arching your back. It's really common for people to do this. Try to keep that neutral spine position and just bring them back here, shoulders down and back. If this feels okay, try to bring them out to the side, parallel, and bring those arms back just a little bit more. If your arms are getting tired, you can drop them down a little bit, because I know you're holding your shoulders up there for a long period of time. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, try to go back just a little bit more. Take those hands and lengthen them towards your back wall. Shoulders in the socket. Whew, bring them down and shake it out. So that chest opener, when we're like this, you know, our levers are shorter, then we can go a little bit farther. Picture this if I'm standing in a doorway. You can put your hands on like the door jamb and lean forward. It's an awesome stretch. So just if you want to enhance that a little bit, you can do that. Okay, so we've stretched trapezius here. We've done some neck rolls. We've got the back, upper back, and then the chest opener. Okay, one of the other issues that I didn't go over in the postural presentation, I guess, is wrists. And I have an issue with carpal tunnel sometimes. And when we're typing, what we're basically doing is we're causing overuse to our wrists. And so that's why they get like achy and inflamed. And so I'm just going to show you a couple wrist exercises that we can kind of shake them out. If you have carpal tunnel or something like that, and these don't feel well, don't do them. Okay. So I want to just start with some wrist rolls. And just, it doesn't matter which way you start, just kind of roll them around. This gets the, the joint fluid, like getting moving. It promotes joint range of motion because, when we're typing, our wrist joint is very static. All right, let's go the other way. And sometimes like it feels good one way and not the other. But we'll warm them up this way. All right, just like 2 more. All right, and then shake them out. I'm going to show you 2 exercises for the wrists. I'm going to back myself up a little bit here. So depending on how your wrists feel and how flexible you already are in your wrists, what I want you to do is just kind of anchor your elbow to the side of your body, okay? And your hands out like this. Take your other hand and then gently, not the fingertips, but maybe like the palm of the hand on the top, and just push it down. And you can kind of anchor your elbow here and stretch. Now, if that feels good and you want a little bit more, now I'm going to move myself again. There's my desk. You can use the desk as a stretch, okay, and an assistance. This is my wrist is pretty, extended here. So if that doesn't feel good, don't do it, okay? But you can take both and bring them right here. So now the desk is assisting the stretch. Now I know I did one hand and I didn't continue with the other. So if you want to shake that one out and continue, we'll do both. And then just shake those out. There's a couple ways that you can do that. You can do it with your own hand. You can't see, you can actually do it on your legs. Or I love this desk stretch. A lot of times in fitness classes, you'll get on all fours, like a cat stretch position, and do it. One of the challenges with that is we are putting our body weight on our wrists. So this takes the body weight off the wrists. And so that's really nice. Okay, so if we stretch one way, we got to stretch the other way. So now we can kind of anchor our hand here and just bend it in. And again, just at the top of the hand, you can just gently push. If that doesn't feel good, don't do it. But now we're stretching. We forget, like when we're typing, we use all these muscles in here up through the hand, and those get tight too. So the other stretch seems to be more common, but we're kind of forgetting about this guy. And then when you're ready, just switch. Again, if that doesn't feel good, don't do that. I don't know about all of you, but when I started getting on the computer a lot, I'm like, what is going on with my wrists? And it was hard to work with the typing all the time. So now I'm adjusted, but it hurt. All right, shake those out. So yeah, if you feel yourself getting really tense in here, just take a couple seconds, roll them out, stretch them out. They'll feel much better over time for sure. Okay. All right, we're going to do some rotational exercises. So with rotation, if you have any back issues in the mid back or the lower back, just be very careful. And, listen to your body. You're your body's best judge. So just listen to your body when we're doing rotational exercises. Okay, so we're going to start with the the mid back first to kind of do some rotational exercises. We are going to bring our hands, arms in a 90-degree position, but parallel to the floor. I'm going to adjust just a little bit here. All right, so try to get those feet flat on the floor, hip distance apart, neutral spine, shoulders down and back, and try to hold them here. If they get tired, you can drop them down a little bit. I want you to take a nice deep inhale. And then on the exhale, I want you to rotate to one side. It really doesn't matter which side. Hold for a split second here, and then bring it back. Nice deep inhale, exhale, rotate to the other side. Now, if you can get that elbow or arm to the chair, great. And then bring it back. We're going to do it 2 more times on each side. Inhale, exhale. And if you can coordinate breath, do a nice inhale and hold, get those shoulders down and back. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale again. You're going to exhale and twist. Try to keep those sit bones, bring it back in the same position so we're not moving the rest of the body. 1 more time each side. Go to the other way. And bring it down and shake those arms out a little bit. Okay, that was kind of like our warm up. All right, so now we're going to do a rotational stretch and hold. I'm just going to adjust a little bit so you can see mid body here. That should be good. Okay, a little bit more. All right, so this time we're going to start here. Okay, take a nice deep inhale, exhale, turn to one side. Now, the arm that's out in front, I want you to cross that over to your leg. If it doesn't go this far, just use the knee, go as far as you can. This arm drops down. So now we're in a rotational stretch. Keep those sit bones connected to the chair. If this is all you can go, perfectly fine. If you want more, keep those legs grounded. Take that arm and push against the leg and rotate. And you're just going to hold. So this is a rotational stretch. We do it a lot of times in class. Shoulders down and back. We'll hold for a couple more seconds. And then we're going to release. Okay, kind of shake it out. We're going to do that the other way. All right, so we're going to start up here again. We're going to rotate to the other side. That arm out in front crosses over the opposite leg. We're going to drop that arm down, shoulders down and back. If you want to assist the stretch, push. You can even hold on to your chair now that I'm in this position. It's up to you. Take a nice deep inhale, breathe, and you can push just a little bit more. And then come back to that neutral position and shake it out a little bit. Okay, good job on that one. All right. Side bends. I really like these too. Okay. All right. There, that's better. So let's take, doesn't matter what side you start with. We're going to take a hand and just kind of grab it under our chair. Now, again, if you have arms on the chair, you can bring it here. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I am going to get cut off up here, but I'll do the best that I can. So bring that opposite arm up and over. Okay, so there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, get that shoulder down and back. Try to keep your body nice and straight and neutral. This sit bone is going to stay on the chair and bring it over. Now, if you can take this hand and reach to the floor, and then take this upper hand, which you can't really see, but just keep reaching. The shoulder goes in the socket, just reach towards the ceiling. Keep going. You should feel the stretch down here, okay? And maybe a little bit in the back on the side there. Okay, bring it back, and then we'll do the other side. So we're going to bring that other arm up and come on over and reach. You might feel a difference from side to side. That's extremely normal. Sometimes the side that you use the most is the tightest because we're using it the most. All right, lock that shoulder in the socket and reach up and over. And then come back. All right, great job. Kind of shake out that upper back and lower back a little bit. Okay. We are going to do some stretches. One more stretch for the middle of the back, and then I'm going to get to some lower back. I really like these. I'm going to turn my chair for demo purposes. Okay, so we're just going to put our hands on our legs somewhere comfortably here. And you may or may not know what a cat stretch is. Normally we're on all fours and we're doing this cat stretch, but we're going to do it in a seated position. And so I want you to take your neutral spine, so that comfortable curvature for you, and lean forward. So you might have to turn your hands in a little bit and just lean forward here. Okay, so what's common is people do this. I'm exaggerating. Okay, but try to keep that back in neutral or flat and then just lean forward. Okay, we can see. From here, take a nice deep inhale. And on the inhale, the middle of the back is going to go up towards the ceiling, or maybe you can think of it as like kind of the corner of your room. So we're going to cat stretch up, tuck that chin. We're going to inhale and come back down. So bring it up. Hold at the top. And bring it down. Let's do 3-ish more. All right, last one. Okay, you can stay in this position, and I think you can see this is going to be a deeper stretch. So if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Bend over as much as you can. Again, keeping that back flat so we're not hunched. And if you can, we might have to scoot forward a little bit here. We're going to grab under our legs. Feet are going to be on the floor. So now that we're underneath here, you can actually pull up on those legs underneath the leg and bring the body down. And there's a deeper stretch all in here in the low back. And that's what gets tight when we're sitting here for hours and hours. And so if you want a little bit more of a stretch in this position, you can tuck your chin down and just hold that stretch. Now, again, if this is uncomfortable, you don't have to do this. I personally love this stretch. What I want you to do from here is release that grab under the legs, and I want you to drop your arms down towards your feet, your middle of your back, suck your belly in towards the spine, middle of the back, and I want you to roll yourself up, back up into that sitting position. Get those shoulders down and back. Okay, and we're going to do 2 more of those rolls. So you can come down slow, reach those hands towards the feet. I know I'm getting cut off a little bit. Tuck that chin down, upper back goes up towards the ceiling, and you're going to slowly roll it up. One more time. Drop it down. And slowly roll it up. So that actually can be a little sequence. You can just push your chair away from your desk. You can kind of start with this because we're warming up. Okay, you can grab and hold, and then when you're done, drop and roll it all the way up. And we're just getting, the lower back. We're starting with, kind of mid lower back, and we're working our way down. So far, what we've done is we've stretched the cervical spine, we've stretched the trapezius to the top, we've done chest, we've done back, and then we're working our way down the back to the lower, I guess we've done upper back, middle back, and then lower back. Okay, okay, let's see what else I have next. Ooh, all right. I'm gonna turn again. This is a great stretch too. So we're gonna continue working our way down the body. And this is a figure 4 stretch. If this doesn't feel good, again, please don't do it. Or if you have any knee issues, it might be uncomfortable, but it's a figure 4 stretch. So I want you to take, let's take our left leg and make sure that it's grounded to the floor. Okay, and then we're gonna take our right leg and bring it up. Now, I can get pretty close to the 4. If yours is a little bit off or it's not working for you, that's okay. But you want to get the ankle up on the leg as much as possible. So right now, this might be stretching right in the back. It's the glute here. Okay, good. So shoulders down and back, that neutral spine. This can be in a stretch in itself. And I'll be, when I'm on meetings or something and I feel tight, like this is what I'll look like under the desk. No one even knows. So if you want a little bit more of that stretch, you're going to take that neutral position here and you're just going to lean in towards that leg. And that's going to deepen the stretch. So if that's too much, bring back up. Okay. But everyone's flexibility levels are different, and you can take an inhale, exhale, and even deepen that stretch even more. When our glutes and hamstrings get tight, our lower back also gets tight because all those muscles are connected. So a lot of times I don't train anymore on a one-on-one capacity, come back up and switch. But one of the number 1 questions that I had, so now that right foot's grounded and that left foot's in the figure 4, see how you feel here. If you want more, lean it in, was my low back hurts. And I always started with, can we stretch your hamstrings? Because I would say 80% of the time, your hamstrings and your glutes are tight. And so it just kind of gets all tight together. Everything's connected and tight. All right, take a nice deep inhale, exhale. You can lean forward just a little bit more in that stretch. The purpose between the inhale and exhale and deepening is as we stretch, our muscle lengthens. And so we want to take advantage of that if we can and deepen the stretch. Again, if it doesn't feel good, you don't have to do that. Okay, come on up. Okay, we're going to do a hamstring stretch too, since if we can go back to the very beginning when I showed that presentation, our hamstrings tend to get tight. This one, let's see. Okay, I'll adjust if you can't really see the full leg. Let's ground our right leg, since it's going to be easier for me to show. And then I just want you to straighten out the left leg. So we might have to move forward on our chair. So we're like this. Let me just get this down just a little bit. So we're here. Okay, now my leg is fully extended. If that doesn't feel good, you can bend your knee slightly and this will absolutely still work. Okay, so we're gonna just take our nice flat back or neutral spine and we're gonna lean in towards that leg. You may feel a stretch in the Achilles, which is down by the foot. You might feel it in your calf. You might feel it in the back of your knee. You might feel it in your lower hamstring or your upper hamstring or all of the above. It really depends on where you're tight. Now, take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to lean forward a little bit more. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can take your foot and flex it up towards you. That hurts when I do it. That's the calf. Okay, so the more you flex, the more you're going to stretch in the back of the leg. Okay, but this is pretty simple to do sitting in the chair. And then we're going to come up and we're going to switch. Okay, so, all right, same thing. Take a nice deep inhale, exhale, lower it down. My hamstrings are tight. See, I need to be doing this class more than I am doing now. Again, if you want to deepen the stretch, take a breath and lean a little bit forward. And if you want to flex that toe up, you absolutely can. If it hurts to flex the toe, don't do it. And then bring it back up. Okay, great job. So let me come back here. So what we've done so far is really taken a lot of the muscles that will get tight during a work day and kind of work its way down. I know that that was a lot and you might not have 40 minutes to sit and do that, and that's okay. Anything is better than nothing. You know, there's this myth out there that even in the exercise world that we have to be working out for hours and hours. And a lot of us don't have hours and hours, or we might have an hour here, but not an hour there. And it's really just as much as you can get done. If your hamstrings are tight one day, do the hamstring stretch. If your neck is tight one day, do the neck stretch. If you have time and you want to do the whole thing, that's great too. But we have to be realistic about our schedules and what we can and cannot do, you know, during a normal day. Okay. Jody, do I have a little bit more time to do a little balance, or should I go on to questions?
Please do. I think we're doing really perfectly on pacing.
Perfect. Okay. I have lots of, I could do this for 2 hours. So just, you know, stop me when, one thing that I like to do in some of my classes when we're sitting on a stability ball or a chair or something similar is just a few balance exercises. And they kind of transfer into strength exercises. So I'm going to start with some heel raises. And so I'm going to just, you're going to see my feet, hopefully. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so while we're doing these, we're going to be moving the ankle joint around, which we don't when we're sedentary and we're sitting here. So it helps with the joint mobility. It also helps strengthen the calves as well as give us a little bit of balance. So it's kind of multifaceted in that way. So we're going to warm up a little bit. Feet are going to be grounded, okay? And all I want you to do is lift the heels up. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. And then bringing them back down. Now I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit because my feet are floating a tiny bit. Okay, so you're just going to lift them up and bring them back down. Now, if you can, as you bring them up, you're going to feel the back of the leg contract, that calf there. I want you to push the heels down into the ground. And that is going to connect with the ground, okay? And that's going to make sure that we fully complete that calf raise. So we're going to come up and we're going to come down. You can do this in a standing position too. Stand behind your chair, calf right up and down. Okay, so these can be used in different positions as well. Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to ground the left foot, make sure it's grounded on the floor there. And then I want you to lift the right leg up, the heel up, and just hold it. Okay, and that's probably easy for most of you. Bring it down, okay, and then do the other side. Just hold, and then bring it down. Okay, if you are comfortable with that, we're going to switch again. I want you to ground the left leg, go up on the toe of that right leg. Now, if you can, and you can use your chair for support if you want to, okay, I just want you to lift it off the ground, okay, and hold it there. Now, you might feel your hip flexor or your quad or something contracting. That's okay. And then bring it back down. Okay, so we're going to inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift it up. Bring it down. One more. And then bring it down and shake it out if you want to. Okay, so we got the quad on that. When we lift, we're also working our quadricep. Okay, so let's ground our right foot, tap that left toe, right? You can use your chair for your support. You can let go, it depends. I like support apparatuses, I guess. You can hold on with both hands. And maybe if you don't feel comfortable with no hands, you can just put like a fingertip. So I always say use as much as you want, but as little as you need. So we're going to do this again. We're going to just lift that left leg up, tap it down, bring it up, tap it down. One more, bring it up and tap it down and shake them out a little bit. Okay. Next one. These are going to progress. So if you feel comfortable with that, let's ground that left leg again. We're going to tap that right toe. This time you're going to lift it up, kick it out, bring it back in, and bring it down. Two more. Up, out, in, and down. Up, out, in, and down. I probably should have said before I started this, if you have a rolly chair, just be careful. I don't want you to roll. Like I'm on carpet, so if I had a rolly chair, it'd be fine, but you know, just make sure you're not rolling around. All right, other side, and then I'll move on. So ground that right foot, left foot taps, up, out. Two more. Last one. All right, great job, and just shake it out. So that allows us to work the lower body, a little bit of strength, a little bit of mobility, a little bit of balance. And, you know, just floating here, sometimes we need to hold on and sometimes we don't, but it's something we can really easily do in our chairs. I find it funny, I'm talking to you, but you can't really see me. So those are just a couple of balance exercises you can do as well. Let's see, what time is it? One more? Okay, awesome. This I like a lot too, because it's so easy to do. It's just a chair raise or just a stand up, I guess. Let's see if I can do this. So we're sitting here all day. Every time that we stand up out of our chair and come back down, we're working quads, hamstrings, and glutes. And that, like if you did a body weight squat, that's exactly what people do in the gym, and we can do it at any time. Just right here. So with our feet about hip distance apart, it can go to shoulders down and back. I'll just show you a couple of things that you can do. Just to stand up here and a sit back down, that's a squat. Say you do 10 of those. Okay. And so now you're doing 10 squats, working those muscle groups. To make it a little bit more advanced, you don't have to sit all the way back down, right? And obviously you have to feel comfortable doing it, but you can stand up, come down, tap the chair, come back up, tap the chair, come back up. You do 10 of those 3 times a day, there's your squats. And you're just sitting. It also gets you up and moving when we're sitting for so much. So just keep that into consideration. I know we're running out of time, so I just want to show you one other thing. I'm going to stand and upper body might get cut off. But to make even a squat, just to give you some ideas, even more advanced, now I'm hip to shoulder distance with my feet. Let me show you just a second here. Okay, hip to shoulder distance there. Hold on to the back of the chair, right? Bring it down, bring it back up. Down and up. And you're kind of shaking it out a little bit. And so you can do 10 of those. Whatever level you're at, whatever your comfort level, wherever you are comfort level wise, all of these are just quick, easy things we can do right, at our home offices, or even in the office if you feel comfortable, if you're in a building. In the physical education center, no one would question me if I was doing squats at my desk. But it depends. So just some ideas how we can evolve from stretch to exercise. And I think I really want to end with, hold on, I have a little bit of an ending here. Like I said before, stretching should feel good, not painful. Anything you can fit into your day is better than nothing. It doesn't have to be a huge chunk of time. And really, this all promotes body awareness. Just being aware of the fact that we're not in a proper position, or we've been sitting, or our hamstrings are tight, then it prompts you to say, oh, I better stretch my hamstrings for 15 seconds. And you will really consistently, if you can do it on a consistent basis here and there, you're going to feel so much better. So I thank you for allowing me to teach you this class today. This was really fun.
I had the best time.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Thank you so much. So really